300 versus 8.6. Which is a better Blackout? We've got supers, we've got subs, and we even have some exotic subs to compare these cartridges on a series of 4 different targets. And I think we'll start with 2 shots of SuperSonic 300 Blackout on this pressure-treated lumber. Yeah. We're off to a good start, at least in terms of shot placement, and I believe I heard them hit. Oh man, wow, I was not expecting that. Those are pinholes through there, so no wonder they went through, but man, they smacked right into the steel. Let me see if I can, yeah, they really didn't do anything to the steel, but nonetheless, that is super impressive that they just went straight through. I mean, unless you wanted them to tumble or something, but anyway, let's see what the 8.6 Blackout does with SuperSonics. Yeah. Oh man, guys, look at this. This is a jacket. I'm pretty sure it wasn't from before, but kind of looks like a 30 cal. I'm not sure which one that was from, but I'm assuming there's some good action on the steel. And indeed there is. But anyway, let's turn it around if we can get to it. And man, 2 pinholes again. That is freaking crazy. Those SMKs are definitely punching right through this. And let's see if there's any more damage on the steel here. Yep, I don't feel anything at all, but obviously these are SuperSonics. Let's see if SuperSonics do any different. I don't know why I walked away from it. I gotta put it right back in. And both SuperSonic offerings are using Barnes copper bullets loaded by Gorilla, so big thank you to them for supplying the ammunition. Just know I am trying to make it as fair as possible. And even though these are pinholes, I guess I'll get a new block. Well, the block didn't fall down in between shots, so that's always good. 2 good shots on there, and I'm thinking since these are tipped, they might expand a little too much. Oh, I stand corrected. They still went through, although they did expand like crazy, especially compared to these pinholes right here. But anyway, what happened to the steel back? Man, okay, they really didn't do much of anything. They just kind of knocked off the paint, but you know, I mean, it's still pretty impressive that they expanded and got to it. I think the 8.6 can do a little bit more than that, but we'll see. I'll be honest, those may be a little close if they expanded at all, but oh man, that is one giant hole. So I would say they probably definitely expanded unless they kind of just mixed paths right there. So I might need to take another shot unless, oh man, guys, I see 2 distinct bullet dents right there. It looks like they were tumbling by the time that they got to the steel here, and they feel very similar. So I mean, that's definitely way more than the 300 Blackout did. So we'll call it a tie for the subs, and then obviously the 8.6 won the supers. Pressure treated lumber is one thing, but you know what's even more rough on bullets? Concrete. And it just so happens that an evil crow is hiding behind a 1.57 inch thick paver made of solid concrete. So we better figure out if either of these cartridges or any of these bullet types can make it through the concrete into the crow. Pretty underwhelming? Yeah, I know, Terry. There's no other way to put it. That was pretty freaking underwhelming. I mean, the concrete is in giant pieces, but I mean, I guess you really can't expect too much out of SuperSonics, at least with the 300 Blackout, but there's no more concrete left in front of the crow, so let's see. Yeah, really not a whole lot. At least it wasn't there before on the crow, so let's see if the 300 grain SMK from the 8.6 does any better.
Wait, what is that Boba Fett looking rifle?
Oh, you mean this? This is the brand new Descent Mark III made by CMMG, and I really appreciate them for making it possible for testing. Guys, there is a whole lot to like about this thing, but I think my favorite feature has to be this folding stock that's only possible with their internal buffer system. And before you ask, yes, I have my brass catcher on backwards, because this charging handle, I didn't realize that it was going to be in the way, but I am definitely keeping a brass catcher on for this cartridge. It seemed to be at least a bit more eventful than the 300 Blackout. Wait, what do you mean it was still uneventful? Terry, you know, just stay quiet over there. But anyway, here's our crow. does not really appear to have any more damage on him. I mean, maybe a little bit, but nothing went through for sure. That little chip piece was from the last test I used with him. Normally I would say, you know what, we're done with SuperSonics. They're not doing anything to the concrete, but Gorilla was also nice enough to send these super exotic rounds that I believe they machine in-house. These are solid copper, and as you can see, they are machined to have 4 expanding petals. But the crazy thing is that the 8.6 weighs 342 grains of solid copper. If you haven't seen one of these, they take up basically the entire case. They are freaking massive. And the 300 Blackout is basically the smaller version of this, but since they're solid copper, I'm thinking that they have a good chance on the concrete. We'll go ahead and see. I don't know if it looked more impressive, but I see a nice big dent on our friend here. Oh, look at that. Nothing appears to have went through, but it definitely blew out, or it definitely cracked the back of this thing. Come to think of it, let me see if I can find the bullet, because that was definitely the bullet hitting it. Ooh. Oh, no, that's not it. Yeah, I'm not really finding it. All I'm finding is copper jackets, I guess from the first test, but I'd be really shocked if the 342 grain bullet of solid copper could not go through both of these. Probably should have got a new piece of plywood. I just didn't want to have to draw the crow again, but I think pretty safe to say that that 342 would have went through a brand new piece of plywood as well. I mean, that is massive devastation. It just ripped through basically everything in the back, or it just blew all of that stuff out in the back. And I'll see if I can find the bullet. No guarantees though. Oh man, here it is. I didn't think it would bounce that far back. Here is at least a portion of the bullet. Or wait, no. Oh wait, this is the 300 Blackout bullet from before. Man, that is pretty cool. And guys, I found one of my sight-in shots right here. Check that freaking bullet out. Holy shite balls, that is cool. And you can see what insane twist rate there is on with the rifling on here. That's after going through the entire railroad tie here. That is freaking insane. But yeah, I don't think I'm finding the one that went through the concrete. Let's jump to the SuperSonics though. Before we do though, I want to show you my new Ultradyne UD chassis. I've used a lot of high-end chassis on this channel, and I'm not trying to tell you that this one is in the same league as those. But what's interesting about this one is that it's a fraction of the cost of a lot of them. And surprisingly, this is 100% American-made machine. If you could see, it also has a built-in Arca rail, which is freaking huge for the price. But I have to say my favorite part about it is that unlike most chassis on the market, it is pretty lightweight. Let me just show you what I mean, because this is the carbon fiber stock that I took off this setup. And I weighed it, and the chassis, even with all this stuff right here, weighs less than this carbon fiber stock. I was pretty freaking impressed with that. But they also offer counterweights that you can attach to the handrail and whatnot if you're wanting to run competitions. Anyway, if you're wanting a chassis and you just don't want to break the bank, this Ultradyne UD chassis is certainly worth taking a look at, and there's more info down in the description if you want to do so. And we have a fresh piece of plywood this time with a more generic looking crow, you know, or malformed, however you want to look at it. I just didn't feel like drawing the whole crow again. Super eventful, but when the dust settled, I don't think... Yeah, there is barely anything. A little bit of spalling from the concrete came back and hit him. I mean, it could be fragmentation, but I really don't think so. So, I mean, the crow is definitely a problem with the SuperSonic 300 Blackout, but let's try the 8.6. And you'll never believe what I think I just found. I turned around right here, and I believe this is the 300... Oh man, that is hot. I didn't even see where the concrete went. I mean, I think it basically vaporized it, but when my scope came back on target, I saw this nice clean hole right here. No denying that. No denying that, and it looks like the crow took it right in the spine. My gosh, that is a clean hole. Freaking clean hole, especially going through concrete. I just wonder if it went any deeper into the railroad tie here. So we got the evil crow with the 8.6, but don't count the 300 Blackout yet, because up next we have steel, specifically mild steel. And if you've seen any of my other tests, we already know that subsonic ammunition is absolute dog shit on mild steel. So we'll save it for the next round, and we're going to focus on SuperSonics this time. And in this case, the 300 Blackout should be moving substantially faster than the 8.6. I mean, we'll verify the velocity later, but I'm thinking that means that it has a pretty good chance of beating it out on steel. And if neither one of these cartridges can get through at least a 1/4 inch of mild steel, they're pretty much worthless. So let's find out. Damn it. Oh, there we go. We are running out of paint. There we go. And I think we are good to go. Looking good, steel set 4.2. Well, things aren't looking too good. I mean, walking up on it, well, I don't know about the whole bullet, but it is basically fused in the steel right there. I can even see part of the tip is right behind the bullet as well. That is pretty cool, but obviously underwhelming performance. Let's see if it poked out the back at all or not. It definitely did not poke out the back. There is a massive bulge though.
Massive bulge.
Man, hopefully the 8.6 at least can get through this. Hopefully. Seems to be official, both of these cartridges suck, at least when it comes to mild steel, and at least with copper bullets, but see if it poked through the back at all. I mean, it seemed to go maybe a little bit deeper than the 300 Blackout, almost the same exact looking performance. And what happened? Oh man, look at that. It actually cracked the back a little there, a massive bulge. So maybe I was wrong about the 300 Blackout being faster? Nope, copper bullets just suck on mild steel.
Well then why are you using them?
I'm glad you asked. Twist rates. So a standard 300 Blackout will have a twist rate of either 1 in 7 or 1 in 8, with 1 in 6 being about the fastest you'll see. Super fast for a 30 cal, but most conventional bullets can handle these types of twist rates. The 8.6 on the other hand is using 338 bullets, just like a 338 Lapua, which are typically spun between 1 in 9 and 1 in 10 twist. But the 8.6 is using a 1 in 3 twist. That is literally a full rotation every 3 inches the 8.6 travels, and at supersonic velocities this produces so many RPMs and places such a torque on the bullets that conventional cup and core bullets, at least most of them, will get ripped apart right after they leave the barrel. This is where solid copper bullets come into play, which really aren't an issue with subsonic bullets. I mean, obviously the SMK isn't a solid copper bullet, but I'm wondering how much of a difference these insane RPMs will look like on these water jugs here compared to the 300 Blackout. I mean, these jugs are rated 5 inches thick, so the 8.6 is making almost 2 full rotations compared to the 300 Blackout, which isn't even making a full rotation. And let's begin with subsonics. Since the SMKs left essentially pinholes in the lumber, I think they'd be pretty underwhelming on the jugs, so let's just jump to the more exotic ones. Probably seemed underwhelming, but for a subsonic, that was freaking impressive. Wait, Terry, what are you saying? You're all wet. Come on, that was freaking impressive for a subsonic. I mean, look at this jug right here. There is barely anything left, and it absolutely shredded it. I have never seen that with a subsonic cartridge. Not saying that I tested a whole lot of them, but anyway, let's check out the steel here, and oh man, it barely left a dent. It definitely knocked the paint off, but let's see if we can find that bullet anywhere. Finally, not where I was expecting, but it bounced all the way over here. I'm pretty sure that this is the bullet. Look at that expansion. Then it smashed into the steel, which kind of messed it up a bit, but that is freaking impressive for a subsonic. Let's see what a 342 grain with a ton more RPMs looks like though.
Could you feel the RPMs, Terry?
No? Well, I was pretty underwhelmed by that one as well. I mean, I was thinking that it was going to rip that thing apart, but obviously there is a ton of water left in here. Sounded like I took a massive pinhole of an entry, and I mean, it split apart the back pretty good, but I heard that thing thump the steel. Let's check it out. Oh yes, you can see that it definitely opened up by the time it got to the steel. 4 distinct petals right there, which is pretty impressive, but that still did not translate to the best performance. Probably not finding that one, but I think I found the next best thing. This is one of the petals, I believe, that came off. I think it had so much energy smacking into it that it probably sheared off all 4 petals. Not sure where the other ones went, but that's still cool that I found one of them. Now there's a nice looking copper cylinder lying around here somewhere. I hope I find it, but anyway, let's jump to the supersonics. It is going to take a lot of RPMs to beat that one, because wow, that was impressive. Holy shitballs, look at how much it shredded this jug up. That is considerably more than the subsonic. Obviously, we were hoping for that, but I heard it smack into the steel, and Terry, you are looking freaking wet. Too bad you didn't bring your white t-shirt today, but anyway, let's check out that steel. Oh man, we actually got a nice dent on there too. I just can't believe how efficient a 300 Blackout is out of a pistol, so if you want to see how it compares, make sure to click here. But it's SuperSonic Blackout time. 8.6 Blackout anyway. And before we jump to our grand finale, guys, I want to give a big thanks to Midway USA for all the support they've given this channel. They have been the longest supporters of this channel by far, so I really appreciate them for that. And if you like the testing I do here, I really think you'll like Midway USA. Could you feel the RPMs? That time I think it's more understandable. I mean, Terry here is freaking soaked, and look, oh man, I have never seen that before. It absolutely ripped apart the top of the jug. That is a lot of force required to do that. Wow. Still a pinhole in, but it definitely shredded the rest of the jug. Absolutely shredded it apart. And I am not sure if this is our bullet. No, never mind, that's lid. Yeah, I don't think we're finding that bullet anywhere, but let's see what it did to this steel. Oh man, that left a pretty good dent. Definitely a little bit deeper than the 300 Blackout, but really not as much of a difference as I thought there would be. The question you have to answer is if you're willing to pay for the difference. And remember, don't let ballistics drive you bananas.